This device we have in our pocket can be seen of one of two ways. A lot of people like to see it as the spy device because it has a mouthpiece that's always listening, it has a camera that's always watching, it has a speaker that's always putting music and other sounds into your ear. You can see it as a spy device, or you can see it as a content creation studio. And in a world where people want to share more, a world that you're able to have the power to put out and document your life at all times, to be able to share that with the world. I think it's the latter. I think it's much more of a content creation device, which is why during the day today, what I've done is I've shut off my phone for until 2 p.m. I woke up at 6 a.m. until 2 p.m. I can't open up any social media. Can't open up texting or calling. I can, however, open up Headspace. So I did a 20-minute meditation, and I can open up my camera so I can document this. That way, when I have an idea, rather than immediately jumping to social media to try to share it, I can document it, have it for myself, and then I can repurpose the content however I want. My favorite part about that is it becomes an archival system of my life. I can look into Google Photos, and because Google Photos sorts through all of my faces, all of my sister's faces, through the years, knowing the location, knowing landmarks, because of artificial intelligence, I have a searchable and filterable archive of my life that I can go back through. That helps me for journaling purposes, for documentation and reflection. It also helps me when I want to share more online because I have the content and I'm much more conscious about it. I think that's the difference between the two, between the one who sees it as a surveillance device that is more intrusive in their lives versus seeing it as a content creation studio that is a tool for you to use, is your conscious decision to create those stories. When I'm sitting here and I'm telling the story to you, I am very conscious that what I am saying is being recorded. I am conscious of the surveillance. I am conscious of the documentation. The other people are much less conscious. I feel like that happens a lot because of the times that people were raised in and because of the environments that they were raised in. If you were raised in an environment that was very low technology and you didn't have any phones or you didn't know much about the technology, this could seem like a major step for you to try to understand and really react to in our society. I like to ask myself, do I see this trend getting smaller or do I see it increasing over the course of my lifetime? Do I think that people are going to want to document less of their lives or more of their lives over the next 100 years? I think the answer is people want to know more. It's why Fitbits are becoming so popular. It's why data science is becoming so popular. It's why voice is becoming popular. People want to know more. You can ask more. There was a phrase that was said at the Alexa conference last week. Once you have said a compound complex query, there's no going back. And what she meant by that is with voice, with a lot of the old interfaces like mobile and web, you had to type in to the interface that was presented to you. You had to use a mouse. You had to learn how to use a mouse and be like, oh, well, when I move this up, that mouse thing over there moves up. When I move it to the right, everything moves up and to the right. When I press the letter W or when I hit a space bar, something specific happens. But you have to learn how to communicate using those different means of interacting. On a mobile phone, it's a little bit better because you can touch anywhere on the screen, but you are still restricted to the interaction points that the developer gives you. That being said, with voice, I can say anything to your program. I can do anything. And your program has to come up with a graceful way to react to that. So, it gets a lot more complex because it's the first technology where we have to adapt to our consumer. We have to see what our consumer is saying and figure out a graceful way to respond to it, or else Alexa is going to respond, hey, sorry, I didn't understand that. I'm working on learning more, but I don't understand that. And that is where you failed. You need to always have an answer for your customers, at least within the context of the problem of what it is you're solving. And the great part about voice is we can get feedback and we can continue to improve because of the amount of data that is built in and ready on the platform. So we can already use Amazon to get a lot of tools about how our customers are interacting with our apps, and from Google in the same way. And we can include a lot baked into the applications to make it so that we can get even more data and use that data to improve the customer process. To see where people are jumping off and where they're leaving, or to see where people aren't finishing their intention of why they came on. My favorite thing about voice is it's very intention-based. You ask to do a thing. You as a human say, hey, I want to accomplish this goal. And then voice's entire intention is to make it as simple as possible to make that happen, to keep you engaged in the current world that you're in. It leverages the screens, it leverages the wearables, it leverages all of the technology around you in your smart home. But it keeps you engaged in the real world. It doesn't distract you with a screen. It doesn't distract you with a screen. It keeps you engaged. So, do you see the phone as a documentation device or as a device of surveillance? Do you see it as a device that is a tool, or do you see it as a device that is spying and always watching, Big Brother-esque? Let me know.